opportunities in automotive. We have Professor Lee Bennet, we have Professor Troy Kuhns from our welding department, and we have Professor Tony Bonato from our construction. So take it away, guys.
How you doing, everybody? I'm Lee Bennet. I'm the chair for the automotive department. We'll be sharing our time, so I don't want to consume too much of it, but what I will tell you about our program is that, like nursing and many other programs and career choices, it's a very sustainable career, and that's a very good thing. That means that when you're done with your education, there's going to be a job for you. And in our particular field, there are far more jobs, good career-paying jobs, than there are people filling them, which is a good place to be in when you graduate. A bad place to be in is a lot of people graduating that are qualified and not very many jobs. So if you go through the automotive program, there's a very, very good possibility you're going to get a job offer before you even graduate. Now, we offer an associate's in science and automotive, but we also offer 13 certificates of achievement, which are recognized by the state chancellor's office, that are very robust, and they have different particular areas that align with ASE. Now, ASE is called Automotive Service Excellence. That's kind of like for nursing has NCLEX, we have ASE. Not quite the same robustness, but it's a third-party professional organization that certifies your abilities to perform your job. When you have an opportunity, if you're interested more in those are all listed on our automotive webpage. One of our exciting things that we have going on right now is we've started an academy style of program in the automotive program. It's a competitive application based, kind of like nursing and fire and some of the other ones. And it's a 2-year program, and at the end of it, you receive a 64-unit certificate of achievement and an automotive degree, and a 2-year paid internship at one of our local auto centers. Upon completion of that, you'll be an ASE master technician and a master technician for whatever manufacturer that you get placed with. And if you do all of that successful, in addition to all that, you'll be given a professional level toolbox full of tools, which is a very substantial gift on the way out the door. In this program, it's a cohort model, so all of you and your cohort mates will be going through the same classes at the same time, so you can develop study groups and partnerships, and you'll be much more likely to be successful. Our program's been around for about 50 years, and we, in the recent, not so distant future, past rather, just did a huge remodel, tripled the size of our program. We're right there next to welding, right next door to construction tech, and we have a huge program. We can teach you to be a smog technician, alternative fuels, electric vehicles, service writing. You can look at the website if it's interests you. And then my name is on there as well. If you have any specific questions, you're welcome to email me at any time. I answer my email all the time, and hopefully I can help you figure out which way you go in your program and help you with some direction. So that's all I have, unless anybody has any questions.
Any questions, folks?
I have a question, Lee. Do you work on gas cars and electric cars?
We work on gas, electric, hybrid, and diesel. Any way you can propel a vehicle down the road, we work on it. And more importantly, teach everyone how to become certified in all of those technologies. Right now, we're in the process of building an ADAS lab, which is Advanced Driver Assistance Systems. And that's all of the new technologies that are on vehicles right now and that are going to be coming out, including LiDAR, which is a 3-dimensional mapping system that maps the upcoming terrain of a vehicle to allow inputs into the vehicle for autonomous braking and lane keep assist and all of those things. That is being built right now. We're the only college in the state of California that has one of those moving in right now.
Great. Thank you so much.
No
Troy,
problem.
Chris is back. Chris, do you have any questions for Lee?
You know what? That's wonderful. You know what? Thank you so much, Mr. Bennett. If you'll hang on to the Zoom call, I have a feeling we'll probably have some more questions coming up here shortly. But for the time, let's go ahead and turn it over to Mr. Troy Kuhns. Real quickly, I got to interject. For those of you who are watching this, if you're not super pumped, if you don't know about these 3 programs offered here at Victor Valley College, but you know folks out there who love to do things with their hands. They like to make things. They like to create things in the world. These are the gentlemen and the programs that you want to know about. So thank you, Mr. Bennet. Please hang out. I'm sure we'll have some more questions. Again, over to welding with Mr. Troy Kuhns.
Well, hello, everybody. My name is Troy Kuhns. I'm the department chair and let's see here, faculty instructor for Welding Technologies. We're a structural arts primary program under the American Welding Society D1.1 structural code. The American Welding Society is our governing body of rules and regulations and standards. Automotive has ASC, construction has NCCER and some other plumbing codes and electrical codes, and nursing has, everybody has their own standards. Ours is the American Welding Society. It's the most and biggest recognized society in North America, not only the world. Our program is comprised of 20 units that is designed to make anybody that comes in and completes all those classes an entry-level combination welder for the field of structural welding. So we have classes in shielded metal arc, which is also known as stick, gas metal arc, which is known as MIG, gas tungsten arc, TIG. We still teach oxyacetylene welding, cutting, and brazing. We have classes in blueprint reading and weld symbols. And then we have some new classes and some new certificates that are on the way that include flux core welding, collaboration with automotive in terms of fabrication, as well as pipe welding in various stages of basic, intermediate, and advanced. We are a Los Angeles City certified testing facility for the Department of Building and Safety. So what does that mean is that you can get a component of your LA City welding license at BVC. So to be any kind of union welder in the state of California and its surrounding states, the LA City license is highly sought after and highly required through a lot of these trades and a lot of these industries. And we offer the component of the performance-based testing here at BVC. Myself, as well as the instructors here, we're all certified welding inspectors and certified welding educators through the American Welding Society. So that means that we hold our curriculum and our students to the highest level of standards that the AWS requires. We also offer AWS performance testing. Now that's a little bit different than our certificate of achievement. So we do have a 20-unit certificate of achievement, and then you can also push that certificate of achievement also into an associate's degree, so you can get an associate's of science in welding technologies. But one of the smaller aspects that we offer that's kind of in-house is becoming what's called a certified welder here at VVC. So because your instructors are certified welding inspectors, because our facility is an LADBS testing facility, you do have the chance to earn performance-based qualifications through our curriculum and through our classes. So those aren't something that's typically guaranteed. Because they're performance-based, they really require you, the welder, to demonstrate the skill necessary. But we have the talent and the equipment and everything that you need here to be as successful as you want. A lot of our past students have gone on to be employed at all the various fabrications and weld shops up here, all the local mines from Mitsubishi to Cemex to Rio Tinto, SMI, Duval Rubber. We've got places up here like the Glass Strand, Western Fabricators, Heavy Duty Gates. We've got Endura Steel, Smith Iron Works. There's a variety of companies up here. And then we've also have close partnerships with a lot of the local unions. So 433 Iron Workers, 92 Boiler Makers, 105 Sheet Metal, and so on and so forth. So our job is to prepare you to be a welder in the field and to try to give you those skills and those basic understandings of the process to be a creative problem solver and be able to figure a lot of that stuff out in the field and become successful as a welder. I'm a product of my environment. I came through this program and I started off as a as a lab instructor, and then now I kind of came around to the department chair and full-time instructor. Between all of the instructors that are on hand, we probably have at least 120 to 150 years of welding experience spread out between us through various parts of the industry. We have fabricators from NASA. We have people that have worked exclusively in high-end stainless steel. I myself come from the pipeline field. So, we're here to serve you and to give you the best welding experience I think that you can get in San Bernardino County. So that's, I guess, really what I have to say. If you have more questions or anything, are you guys going to post links to us? I know our stuff's on the website. Are they going to post links to find us? Anyways, you can, follow the links that they're going to send out if you have any other questions. I wanted to put that nice background that you guys sent out, but my computer is apparently too old to support that. So I'm going to have to update my computer. But that's what we do. We teach you how to weld and how to be a successful welder and hopefully a certified welder. So if that's something that you're interested in, either get a hold of us or come on down and we'll be happy to have you.
Troy, do you have any of your art in the office that you could show us?
Any art? Oh, no, I don't. This is a relatively new office space that we've all moved into. So I've only got a couple of things set up here. I've got old NASA posters and stuff like that. So I'm also a research engineer as I move forward with my undergraduate study in applied physics and mechanical engineering. So there's all kinds of neat stuff that happens over here in welding. So,
But there is some of your art in the one stop, right?
yeah, we've cut out some fixtures and some displays and stuff like that that you can see around campus, and there's going to be a lot more of that in the future.
Thank you.
Tony, construction, you're up.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tony Bonato, and I am the department chair for construction tech. We have a full construction program with 12 different certifications that you can get, including an associate's in science degree in construction technology. The thing to keep in mind about construction is that there are a lot of different ways to play the game. So when you watch the Super Bowl, you saw a bunch of football players out there. They had different positions. And that's what you think of as football. But when you think about the NFL, you think about all the different things that are occurring. You have to have coaches and referees. You have to have a stadium, marketing, all those kind of things. Well, we have the same thing in construction. When you look at a job site, you'll see a bunch of folks out there working different trades. And those are kind of like the positions. So you have electricians and framers, you have plumbing, HVAC, solar, concrete, masonry, those kind of things. And all that has to happen. But behind all of that, you have coaches, right? You have construction managers. And those are really high paying jobs. And we have a 2-year program to become a construction manager. And then you can transfer down to a 4-year program at Cal Poly Pomona or Northridge or even Cal Baptist. So one of the things I want to do is tell you that if you're interested in construction, it is a great career path. The employment situation has actually been very strong despite COVID. People are working, jobs are plentiful, and with some training, you can go out there and change your life. One of the coolest things about me being here for 9 years now is I've gotten to see hundreds and hundreds of people come through my doors, and after 6 months, a year, sometimes 2 years of training and hard work on their part, go out and change their own lives and do something that they love to do. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to transition into a PowerPoint. And what I want to do is just sort of, it's important that you connect with construction. It's not for everybody. I love it. It's a great way to make a living. My dad did it. My uncles did it. But it's not for everybody. So I'm going to kind of walk you through what I think are things you should think about as far as a program is concerned. Real quick, can you guys see my PowerPoint? Okay, good.
Yes.
Okay, and can you see my cursor, or does it have to be over here?
We can see the cursor
it.
too.
Okay, sweet. I have 2 screens, so I never know which one the cursor is going to be working on. So this is my contact information, anthony.bonato@vvc.edu. If you have any questions, please shoot me an email and I will get right back to you. So what is cool about construction? Well, if you like working in teams, you work with people all the time. If you are a loner, construction is probably not for you. But if you like being in a group and getting stuff done on a daily basis and having that camaraderie, construction is a great way to go. Another cool thing is you get something done each day and you can see it. And I think the reward of seeing your work done and seeing it for a long period of time, you do a project and it will more than likely outlive you. That project will remain even as you pass into the next level. Working with your hands, one of the things that you can't get around with is that construction is a physical activity. So though there is stuff like construction management and designing and stuff that we'll get to, fundamentally, a lot of times we are working with our hands, we're working out in the elements. And so some people love being outside. They love the sunshine and the rain and the wind and the cold, depending on the season. But that is something that's out there waiting for you. Another thing is that it is about problem solving. A lot of people might think that construction is something that's very repetitive, but it's the opposite of that. There's always new designs, new locations, new problems that you're facing, and the industry evolves over time with new techniques, and we're always trying to do things a little bit faster and a little bit better than we did a year ago. So there's a lot of variety, and as a result, because it is dynamic, the pay is good. We did a recent study of the high desert, and construction is what's considered a tier 2 job and is the #1 job in the high desert. So it's a really great place to make a living and have a middle-class lifestyle. So what kind of careers can you do? Lots. It is going to start here at Victor Valley College with construction tech. You learn a trade, and then you go out there and get some experience, and you get involved with apprenticeship programs. And then after that, you're going to choose your adventure. Well, your adventure is going to be based on your own drive, your personality, and to some extent, your abilities. So are you an entrepreneur? Well, you probably end up becoming self-employed. It's pretty common for people in construction to 5-10 years in to be a contractor and running their own business. Maybe you're into management. You don't want to deal with the taxes and the hiring and the firing and that kind of stuff, but you love organizing and you love watching a project come together. That's where a construction manager comes in. And again, very well paid job, very exciting job. Maybe you get into design. So for those that are thinking about going into engineering, one of the things about construction is we have to design everything. We have to draw everything out. We got to know exactly what we're using and the way we're going to use it. And we need engineers. Construction and engineering are very linked. And sometimes folks will start off in construction, like it, and then go into the engineering side. And they're very good engineers because they have hands-on experience. So what's the starting pay? Well, if you become a union apprentice, which we have relationships with all the unions down the hill and up here, you can expect to make about $21 an hour coming out of our program. That will get better and better each year until you're probably in about the $40 to $45 an hour range, which is really a nice income to make. And some of the things that you can become: solar technician, an electrician. I think you're hearing a lot of that because solar technician happens to be the fastest growing occupation in the United States, and it has been so for about 8 years. Electricians and plumbing, masonry, carpentry, HVAC, those are all programs that we have here at the college, hands-on, that you can be taking now to prepare you for this career. So what does a pathway look like? A career might look like you become an apprentice. In this case, I put down framer. That's your entry-level position. And at first, you're not going to know a lot, but you're going to be eager. With time and experience and study, you will become what's called a journeyman framer. And that means that I can hand you a set of plans, some tools, and some materials, and you can create it and follow the plans. At some point, you might do this for a few years, and you might decide, I want to go into business for myself and become a framing contractor. Now you're dealing with hiring, firing, taxes, bidding, estimating, all those kind of things and concentrated on framing. And you might do that for some time. And then you decide, I want to run the whole thing. I want to become a general contractor, and I want to do the entire project from start to finish and put all that together. So again, very dynamic career path, and you start off with being an apprentice framer. At some point, you might choose to go a little different route where you maybe do the framing, you get really good at it, and you start thinking, I want to actually design this stuff. So you go out and you get a 4-year degree, become a structural engineer, and then an architect. Another route you might take is go from being a journeyman framer to being a job superintendent and supervising people. Again, going in a 4-year degree and then becoming a project manager. So lots of different pathways from learning a trade. And I put framer up there, but you could slide in electrician, plumber, mason, etc. Industry's huge. 6.6 million Americans work in construction, and that's actually 4 times bigger than the armed forces. You add up everybody, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and there's about 4 times as many construction workers. I think they might take us in a fight, but at least we'd have them by numbers. $1.7 trillion industry, huge variety of jobs, like trades, like we talked about. The management side, self-employed, where you have your own business, designing, engineering, inspection, and then heavy equipment operator, and there's more. So these people are all doing construction. It's happening all over the world, all over the country, whether it be infrastructure, residential, commercial, remodeling. All these things are occurring, and all these different types of occupational opportunities are out there. And your foundation can be here at the college. You know, I look at this picture and everyone looks at it, you go, man, that's a beautiful place. I'd like to be there, either Airbnb it or live there permanently. And when I see it, I see construction. I see everything there was brought there because somebody made that with their hands, and they made that happen, and it makes our civilization what it is. And so I happen to be in an awesome trade, and I love sharing what we know with you. All of my instructors are experts in their field. Most of them are contractors, have been doing this for 15, 20, 30 years, and they want to pass on what they know to the next generation. How does it happen? Well, you apply to VVC, then you enroll on hands-on trade classes this spring. These are the classes I'd highlight for you that are going on this spring. And so, you know, I have those listed out for you, and you get to build stuff. After you get a little bit of experience and some taste of it, you're going to choose a construction career, and then go towards that certificate. Then you want to become a union apprentice and start getting more job experience, and then become a journeyman with time and experience, and eventually making that $45 an hour. But remember, it doesn't end there. After that is choose your own adventure. Do you want to open your own business? Do you want to become an engineer? Do you want to become a project manager? All those things are open to you. And remember, it's a continuum. One thing about the industry with 6.6 million job spots, there's lots of variety there. This is our schedule. Again, if you're watching it, you can just stop your screen and take a look at it. It's got the section numbers, when these classes are being offered and which day that might fit into your schedule. And I'd also highlight to you that this summer we have what's called a summer program, where we bring in people that maybe haven't had a lot of construction experience, and we do some projects that are live, and we build a building, and we wire it, we roof it, we paint it, we do everything. And it's a 6-week program over the summer that starts July 1st. So I guess my question is, who's in? I've got my email address up there, as well as Ryan Atkins. He's the senior IA for construction tech, and either one of us are here for you to answer any questions you have about our program.
Awesome, Tony. Thank you so much. So much. Like we said, ladies and gentlemen, these are the careers where you're making something with your hands, where, like Tony said, long after you're gone, there will be a relic there of your accomplishment and your work. In the state of California, housing and service providers who keep our infrastructure running, like our cars, so obviously our mechanics, are in dire need. One of the reasons that housing is so expensive in the state of California, of course, is because we don't have enough qualified craftsmen to build them. So Tony, Troy, uh, Lee, I know that we all have you here. Let me ask you guys, can you describe who would be an ideal candidate to come to your program? Who would you recommend should come and see you?
I would recommend people that, again, like to work with their hands. They maybe don't like sitting in the classroom all day doing a bunch of problems or reading, pages and pages and answering questions, but they get excited when they're presented with problems and they have to use materials and tools to solve those problems. Troy, what would you say?
I'll piggyback on that for sure. Obviously, there's going to be your two types. Those that know that that's kind of what they want to do. I want to get into a trade. That's the life for me. And then there's people that are just kind of, they're not sure. And I've had plenty of students that came in and they weren't kind of sure that this is what they wanted to do. And they kind of fell in love with it. And, they were off like an unguided missile. And then of course you have your students come in too, that this is it. This is the life they want to be. They want to be a welder, or they want to be a construction tradesman, and they're already set. So, even if you're just a little bit curious, there's only one way to figure that out, is just to come down and to take a class, whatever it may be. You never know what kind of secret passion might be hidden in there until you experience it.
Let me jump on that as well. As the things that you learn here, whether it be auto, welding, or construction, you learn them for the rest of your life. It can never be taken away from you. And even if you do something different for a living, you can always work on your house. You can always fix things. And that's a nice skill to have. And it's pretty fun. One of the things, Troy will probably agree with me, is how many times have you had a student that said, I haven't historically been that successful in school, but I love coming here and I love what I'm learning here. And I'm excited about getting into this industry. And it happens in construction tech all the time, every semester, dozens of people.
Yeah, I've had plenty of students that have come down that that didn't know what any of the things were on our syllabus in terms of tools, and were brand new. They didn't grow up in that kind of lifestyle or anything like that. And to watch them kind of exit the program as a welder, it's fun. It's pretty rewarding.
I bet. Let me ask you guys something that actually I'm asked frequently by some of my friends, particularly about both of your guys' departments. Is, Tony, actually you said it. It's always great to have these skills to be able to work on your own home or on your own equipment. What would you gentlemen recommend for somebody who maybe doesn't want to come back to school to get a certificate or a degree, but maybe is more of a hobbyist and wants to learn some skills for themselves? Do you have some recommendations on where they should start?
Yeah, for me, we have classes, the maintenance classes. So we have plumbing repair and electrical repair. And we also have a remodeling class, CT 130.
Oh. So
those classes are great because you get to see all the pieces, and you can now do the work at your own house. So that's pretty exciting when you can fix things or add on or do something value added at your own home, and you save a little bit of money, or actually a lot of money, but the satisfaction of being able to look at it and say, hey, I did that. And some people are kind of surprised that they can. Another thing I'm sure Troy will agree is, once you're one of our students, you're always one of our students. So I get calls all the time, people looking for a tech assist on something that they're working on. And, we got that bond, so I can sit there and problem solve with them and be a resource for them for, 10 years and counting.
I feel like that's a little bit of a jab. I think I contacted you about water heater issues. But put me in touch with some good people and I don't really know anything about water heaters or anything like that. And I don't pretend to be a self-proclaimed YouTube repairman. So, but got in touch with the right people and saved me at least $600 to $700. So, which was cool. For us, it's really just taking an entry-level class, and all of our entry-level classes are designed for those that have zero to little experience. One thing that we'll be working on with Automotive in the future is creating these really short-term not for credit classes, specifically for what you're asking for, Chris. And
Oh.
that's for the hobbyist. They don't maybe want to dedicate 16 weeks in a 2 nights a week and all of this stuff. So we're looking at that. And I know that Tony and I have worked on some projects together, and we're going to continue in the future with some of his short-term stuff. They help build us a building, and we're looking at doing some cool projects around campus for beautification and stuff like that. So there'll be opportunities for people at any level to kind of come in and either one or other or both programs that, so there's all kinds of stuff that's happening all the time as we look to try to find ways to engage the community and give back and bring people in.
Very cool.
Oh,
Very cool.
I just want to say one more thing is don't be afraid. Because honestly, that's what we do every term, right? We get people that maybe don't have the background, they've never used the tools. And yeah, that's what our job is, and we love it. So don't feel like you have to know a certain amount to enter our entry-level classes.
Awesome. Actually, that's a perfect segue, Tony. We have a question from a student. And this is a great question, and I've seen firsthand, but if you guys could both share, the question is, what's the likelihood that a female student will participate and get these certificates? It seems like there are more males that dominate this work field, of course, because of the physically demanding restraints on it. But tell me, what are you seeing in your classes and in the field as far as women joining these fields?
Oh, I'm all over. We are starting to see a larger influx of female welders, and it's fantastic. A lot of the union trades are actually hosting special programs because they're looking to get more women into welding. I know that Tony and I are working on the summer program coming up for women in trades and stuff like that. We'll be posting that soon to Robert and to you, Chris, and all of that stuff. It is physically demanding, but it's anything that nothing could handle or that anybody could handle, you know what I mean? And I'll be honest with you, is that women tend to have a greater advantage when it comes to welding for just a couple of things. And the first is attention to detail. Their ability to attune to finer details makes them better welders. Their lack of an ego, so asking for help and realizing that they don't have to be the best as they come in are huge. They listen well, and we have some great female students. We used to not have many at all, zero, because it is a male predominant trade, but I'll say over the last couple of semesters, we're up into the tens, if not teens, or more of women that are taking classes, and it's a wonderful trade. There's nothing to be worried about. There's plenty of women out in the field that we can put you in touch with and talk to throughout all different types of the industry. And by all means, there is no reason why you cannot be successful in this field.
Wonderful.
I'd just say that we're at the turning of the tide right now. You know how you have really, really low percentages, and then you start to see it, and we're right there around 5 to 7%. And whereas like 10 years ago, it was like 1 to 2%. So we're at that change. The tools are lighter and more powerful. And, and I think just mentally people are saying, well, why couldn't I do construction? Why would that not work? And once you get past that, and one of the things like the summer programs that we have, or the entry level, like the remodeling or something, getting a tool in your hand and proving to yourself that you can do it. I know you can do it. You just have to believe in yourself. So if you're a lady and you want to explore that, I would explore that, because the industry wants you and VVC wants you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Tony, you're right. The tide is turning. And I definitely think that, especially with the growing demand for all of these fields, we're definitely going to see a lot more female participation and leadership in this region. So this is wonderful. What a great question. Thank you, folks. Thank you, gentlemen, so much for your presentations today. If anybody has any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to these gentlemen. They'll definitely get you off to the right start. Thank you guys again very, very much.